know, a lot of the things that happened in Iraq, like when people ask me if I killed anybody, see, where it's not as clear-cut as they portray it in the movies. There was this one time we're positioned on this rooftop. It was like a political protest that turned violent. Everyone is quiet, and this young man emerges. And he's got something in his hand. And I know that it's a grenade. And, but I also know that he can't do anything to us because he's too far. Everything that I'm describing to you, I'm looking through the rear aperture of my M16 sight. So it's a very, very, very intense moment. And I don't remember squeezing the trigger, and I don't remember seeing him go down. All I remember is that we shot at him, and that the next image that I have is, you know, two men came from the crowd and grabbed him by the shoulders and pulled him through a puddle of blood. And then I remember that after that mission was over, you know, before we moved on to our next mission, you know, I went into a dark room by myself and I pulled out my magazine and I counted the bullets and I realized that I had fired 11 bullets at him. And it changes you. It's really hard to sit down and make moral decisions when you're trying to stay alive. Somebody shoots at you, you immediately take cover. You have your finger on the safety. Immediately it goes to fire. You know, you do everything without even thinking about it. But then I came home on a 2-week leave and removed from that dangerous situation, removed from that pressure, I started thinking about the war, looking for answers. And something changed my life. I began to object in a more profound, personal, spiritual way to war. And so I made a commitment that I was a conscious objector and that I wasn't going back. And it wasn't a decision that took place overnight. You know, it was a painful process because it's healing, but it could destroy you. This fear, this regret, there's the issue of camaraderie, and you know, your body's in war, and also the fear of punishment and all this guilt and being tried by a court-martial, and just the words court-martial. You know, it's like so evil and so bad. All these horrible images, you know, come to you, and like, you know, being a coward and being a traitor and you know, losing your freedom and ended up in a jail. And then suddenly, you know, I say, you know, I'm not gonna go to war. I'm not gonna go back to that. I'm not going to go back to obey everything that I'm told, keeping my mouth shut and ignoring the fact that I have a conscience. I'm going to take a stand and I'm going to say, no, I'm not going back to this war.
When one applies for conscientious objector status, there is a regulation that fully guides a soldier through the process. The soldier makes a formal application to his chain of command requesting conscientious objector status. The soldier has a burden of proof. The soldier has to prove that the beliefs are genuine, that the beliefs are real, that the beliefs crystallized after the soldier came on active duty. The soldier is interviewed by the chain of command, by a chaplain, by a person through mental health, and they compile a complete application documenting their beliefs and why they think they should be a conscientious objector. An independent investigating officer is appointed, then the entire packet has to go through the chain of command and is ultimately reviewed by a board of officers at Headquarters Department of the Army. And then ultimately a decision is made whether or not the soldier is a conscientious objector.
Staff Sergeant Camilo Mejia refused to return to Iraq. He felt so strongly about his decision that he took the risky step of going public and talking to us while still in hiding. Are you a coward?
No, I'm not.
Why did this soldier go AWOL?
This soldier went AWOL because this soldier does not think that this is a good war. And when you look at the war and you look at the reasons that took us to war, and you don't find that any of the things that we were told that we were going to war for turned out to be true, when you don't find that there were weapons of mass destruction, and when you don't find that there was a link between Saddam Hussein and Al-Qaeda, and you see that you're not helping the people, and you see that the people don't want you there, to me, there's no military contract and no military duty that is going to justify being a part of that war.
And it just exploded because I was the first combat veteran to come back from Iraq and go public and say, this is wrong.
I did not prepare a statement because what I have to say from the heart. And it's a very simple message, and it simply is that I am saying no to war. I went to Iraq, and I was an instrument of violence, and now I have decided to become an instrument of peace. I have decided I'm not going to be a part of the war, but I'm going back to the military today. I have really no idea what's going to happen, but whatever happens, if they try to say that I'm a criminal and they give me many years in jail, at least I know that I made the right decision and that God has forgiven me already. Thank you.
I went back to the military, and everything that I feared happened. I was called a coward. I was called a traitor. I was accused of desertion. I was tried. I was convicted. I was sentenced. I was put in jail. And let me tell you, I've never felt freer in my life. You know, there's no higher assertion of your freedom than to follow your conscience.